What is going on, everybody? King Recon here today. It's freezing outside. I'm a man who's used to tropical weather. I'm cold. I'm freezing. I just want to get under those covers again. But guys, I have to talk about One Piece, Goat Piece, ladies and gentlemen, chapter 811. Now, it's kind of funny because whenever I read this chapter and I saw the chopper moments and I saw Nami as well, I realized that my discussion yesterday could have coincided with this anyway, but I was like, you know what, screw it. Because I didn't reread the chapter yesterday. I was just doing that out of, out of whatever. But actually, after reading the chapter, I was like, man, that actually coincided with the discussion I made yesterday, so that was a little cool. So, yeah, first of all, shout outs to Chopper, man. Chopper was doing what good doctors do, he was trying to save everyone. And I've always loved it about Chopper, that no matter, even if he doesn't know who they are, he's still willing to risk his life to save other people because he knows he's probably one of the only ones who can. And I seriously, I really do love that about Chopper. We start off this week's chapter, or not even this week's, this this chapter of One Piece with an awesome color page. I loved it. I had it as my computer wallpaper on there for a little bit because it was awesome. I love the way that Sanji looks. Just the perspective that Oda gave us of him was awesome. I love the way that Luffy was eating an orange because Nami and Luffy for the win. And then Usopp was looking nice. Zoro was looking nice. Nami's looking nice right here too. I like and Chopper's wearing cute glasses. Like, it was just an overall really fun and nice color page. I don't know if I've said this before, but I have absolutely love, specifically Brooks, Nami's, and Sanji's design in this flashback. Like man, I love it. I love their design here, and I really like the moment with Wanda and Nami. And I've seen that sort of little joke going around. They ship Wanda and Nami, but hell, screw it. All right, and that was a really powerful moment for me, especially when Wanda came out from the sky and she was like, are you also associated with Jack? Because can you imagine the amount of fear left behind seeing these new intruders coming in? Sanji is laying waste to everyone around. Diablo Mutin shot just sweet chin music. I'm telling you, sweet chin, baby. And he's laying waste to the playground, and then out of nowhere, all these guys comes in, and that is directly after, Jack just destroyed everything that they hold dear. I can only imagine just how emotional that must have been. Whenever you see that crying face, that came straight from her soul, and Oda really presented that in a manner that was really, really nice, and you could really tell, the emotion that was coming out. I also love the confirmation that we got in this chapter from Goda himself. Luffy states, and I quote, "Man, I promise you one day I'll sock him and that Kaido good and hard." I was like, whoa, him and Kaido, son. Let's go. And that's going to be really fun to see, honestly. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing. Because Luffy's punches, especially the way that Oda, portrays that in his manga, is insane. I love Luffy's punches. So if he can sock, a little bit one into Kaido. Now, the thing is, man, Kaido's tanking it. You feel me? Kaido's tanking it. Now, when it comes to Jack, he's probably going to tank the first one too, but I can actually see him and Luffy going at it right now, honestly. I really can. But Kaido's son, I don't know just yet, man. Luffy has to continue progressing a little bit. I mean, that's just me. Kaido right now is on the man. I got him pretty damn high right now, man. That 795 chapter really hit me. I really did. Yeah, he's tanking it. I don't care. He's tanking that sock. The sock might hurt, but he's tanking it, all right. So then, on the way for them to go to meet up with Nekomamushi, Brook gives a little song, as the Soul King does best, saying that Sanji is no longer able to return to us. And, it's something that we all expected, and of course, Luffy questions what all the fans were saying. It's like, what, didn't he send a letter, saying don't worry, and then he'd be back or whatnot? But then Nami tells us, and I'm guessing this is Oda just telling the audience that, this is a much more dire situation than what she/Oda originally portrayed it out to be. And it's something that, there was a lot of different speculations out there of what really happened to Sanji, and this was definitely one of them. That, once again, he came on back on a Big Mom's crew, came right downstairs, went right down Noiro Boulevard, took a right on Jabroni Avenue, checked right in the SmackDown Hotel, and proceeded to land the sweet chin music to every person on his crew. Now, that's just something I would love to see. I know it's not a huge possibility, because this is Yonko's crew after all. But that's something I would like to see. I want to see that this going backstage, just you know, but that's just my personal preference. So before I get into the overall discussion, as a review for this chapter was a good sauce, most definitely a good sauce. A lot of really good information, and I loved seeing Chopper and Nami shine. I love seeing. I don't know, just overall, I liked what I got out of this chapter, and there was a lot of really nice panels that I really enjoyed, especially some things that Oda really wanted to portray. I really felt like it really hit home. So overall, it was a good sauce of a chapter. But getting into the final part of this chapter, the stuff that I'm pretty sure is the talk of the internet right now, is the Big Mom showing up and showing that Peckham's was in fact a mink, and he says, Zoe is my homeland, and that's actually a pretty cool confirmation. That was a nice little tie-in that Oda did with, Big Mom, and with, besides, because well, the video is gone now, but I had my own connections and theories of why Caesar was connected to Big Mom. It was about the whole candy situation, and how the reason why Big Mom is as big as she is because of the candy. It's Caesar's fault. Maybe she was one of the first prototypes. Maybe originally she wasn't even that big, and it's because of that she wants Caesar, because she wants more candy. That would make sense with her character. But that's a theory that I need to possibly redo or do again, because I don't think I have that theory anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, my channel's not coming back, so I don't know if that theory's coming back. Regardless of that, getting off of that, with the whole connection with Big Mom, Caesar, and Sanji right now, right? And the thing with Sanji and what he's doing at this point in time, because it's clear that this is now connected with Sanji's disappearance, or at least it's not really clear, but we can speculate off of that. So off of speculation, there is one route that I want to talk about, the multiple different routes that Oda can go about this, and that route is that Sanji could very well have gotten on a Big Mam's ship. Now we don't know what's going to happen with Peckham's. We don't know who's going to defeat who. We don't know what kind of skirmish is going to go about here, but we know for a fact that at this point in time, Peckham's is not on the island, so we can assume that he is still on that ship. Now, whether Sanji snuck aboard or he broke himself aboard, that is a different question. That is actually, since he sent a letter, I want to believe that Mr. Prince is back and he's sneaking up in there and some Solid Snake stuff, which would be really awesome sauce. Now, depending on the contents of this letter, we could very well have a detour of crazy levels. And what I mean by a detour is that, if you guys remember how they would always say that we're going to Fishman Island, we're going to Fishman Island, we're going to Fishman Island, but we went other places, we went to the bark. Then in order to get from Fishman Island, we'd go to Sabaody, but we didn't go to Sabaody, instead it was a whole huge detour that happened. Luffy went to Impel Down, or he went to Amazon Lily, Impel Down, Marineford, and whatnot. I sense a detour coming in, but mainly for us fans, not really for the Straw Hats. Because us fans, we're looking forward to seeing Wano. We're looking forward to see what Wano is going to bring to the table. I'm really excited for Wano. But I think Oda, with the way he's going about this, I'm not sure where Big Mom wants to go. I'm not sure where the ship is even headed. Is it going back to Whole Cake Island? I'm going to assume it's going back to Whole Cake Island. But if it's not, where is it going? That's going to depend where the next stage of going up to go rescue Sanji is going to take place. And maybe even a detour there. On the way to rescue Sanji, who knows what kind of detour they could get? Who knows? Weeble could show up. Jack could show up. Hell, even Kaido. We don't know. Oda's unpredictable writing could get us. They could be sail out of Zoe. They head directly to where it is, thanks to, well, this is only if Lola is connected to Big Mom, but Nami could use her Vivre card to give that to Luffy or whatnot, and that way they can navigate themselves over toward where Sanji is. And that would make sense in that connection to why she has the Vivre card in the first place. Well, shout out to Oda's foreshadowing skills once again. But that would be really cool, and that would be a really cool tie-in. But the thing is knowing Oda, we would get a detour. I promise that. On the way to go towards Sanji, we would get a detour. Now, whether that detour itself is Wano, or whether that detour could be something happening with Weeble. But the main question for me is definitely, where is that ship headed? Where is that ship? Where is Big Mom's ship headed? That is the main question that I have, because that is going to determine the ultimate, destination of where the Straw Hats are trying to get to. Now, the thing is if it is Whole Cake Island, and the events of Sanji arriving there take place either during or after Big Mom opens that damn candy, and it explodes in her face. You know she is going to go on this rampage, asking her subordinates who did it, and a subordinate's gonna say it was the Straw Hat Pirates, and she is about to go dead on either to Fishman Island or to search for the Straw Hats, which her last known destination it was Dressrosa, but I'm not sure though. But getting off that, that's a discussion for another day. When it comes to that entire thing, you know, she's gonna be asking like, who did this? The Straw Hat Pirates. And if this time that ship comes back, and she gets a call. She gets a call. Or at least she calls in maybe to Peckham's and to Mago. And one of them tells them that they saw the Straw Hat Pirates on Zoe. On Zoe. But they do not know that Sanji is aboard their ship and he's sneaking around, he's infiltrating. Now this could go either one of two ways with Sanji infiltrating, right? He could either stay infiltrating or he could do what Mr. Prince does best. He infiltrates to the last moment. And right there, right before Big Mom is about to leave that area, she has her squad with her. Now I'm not saying that my boy's gonna take them all on by himself. But what I am saying is that he will do Sanji's badass moment. And he will be waiting for him at the door and say, you know, or he'll have one of his, you know, really beast badass lines. You know, have his cigarette in his mouth. We go, and then Big Mom will be like, who is this guy? And one of her subordinates will be like, that's a guy, that's a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, Black Leg Sanji. That's what Sanji just goes in. He starts going crazy, switching music. Now the thing is I don't know if he's been captured. I don't know if he escaped. Like, who knows? But that is definitely a route to think of. Because it depends also on the boat arriving. When the boat arrives, is Sanji still sneaking? Or did he lay the smackdown on some candy butts whenever he entered the ship? You know, but the thing is it's also Yonko crew. So I'm not sure if Sanji just went straight up in there and just started wrecking everybody. You know, that's something my fanboy heart would love. I would love to see Sanji hitting people with switching music. I've said it before. Laying the smackdown on multiple Big Mom's crew members, that'd be great. Just sweet chin music, you know? That'd be greatness. But knowing how Sanji is, knowing what kind of tactician he is, knowing that how much of a genius he is in battle, I don't see him really doing that. But I would love to see him do it. But I don't know. It could go either way. But I would love for him to sneak up in there on some Mr. Prince / Solid Snake stuff. You know, gather some information on Big Mom's crew. And then, of course, since he is now over there on Whole Cake Island, that would lead, or if that is the case, and he did do that, like that'd be insane, you know, approaching and confronting Big Mom. Now what happens there, I'm not sure. Whether he cooks for her, whether Big Mom tries to lay the smackdown upon Sanji, whether he escapes, whether he got wrecked, I'm not sure. I mean, the whole cooking thing would be pretty cool too. You know, there's multiple different routes that he can go. But the main thing that I want to get across here is that Oda is trying to lay the foreground to the next saga we're about to get in the One Piece world, which is probably going to be the saga of attempting to get to Sanji's location or Whole Cake Island, unless Big Mom takes Sanji. And, I mean, I don't know. There's just so many different things. Like, maybe this thing could be also connected to the Reverie. I don't know. It's Oda. I'm not sure, but it's definitely some food for thought. It's something I've definitely been thinking about, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. If Big Mom is truly related to Lola, that would explain the Vivre card. That would explain how the Straw Hats would get to where Sanji's location is if he is still in fact with Big Mom, and that would tie in everything, you know, going into that straight line. But as we know, Oda's story is not a straight line. So on the way to that location, I can almost 100% guarantee that we will get a detour. Whether that detour is Wano, whether that detour is Weeble, whether that detour is another island, I'm not sure. But one thing is for sure is that this next saga is going to be about getting to Sanji and switching back and forth between Sanji's perspective and our perspective, and with, you know, through the rest of the Straw Hats. Now, I'm interested on seeing also what's about to happen with Jinbei. How is Jinbei going to be connected with all this? Because we know how he is also connected to the Fishman's, you know, to Fishman Island, of course, and he has his new poneglyph. So I'm interested on seeing how that is going to tie in with Soul Situation, because if Big Mom, when that candy explodes, she's going for either Straw Hats or she's going for Fishman Island, or maybe she's going for both. She'll be so mad, she'll go for both Fishman Island and the Straw Hats. And there to defend, you know, there will be Jinbei, and then, but I don't know, yo. There's just so many different possibilities. But the main thing that I can definitely say that I would like for you to get out of this discussion is that right now Oda is attempting to lay the foreground for the next saga after Zou, which I'm looking forward to, man. Because once again, it's just classic Oda, making us believe we're going to go for one thing, but then we go to the other. Like how originally we thought we were going to go for Kaido, and Big Mom shows up on Dressrosa. We're like, whoa, what's going on? And then now we get introduced to Weeble. We get introduced to Jack. It's like there's so many different possibilities that Oda can go with the story. It's fun. It's exciting. Like I'm really, really excited to see what happens next. And I hope you guys are excited as I am. Leave me your comments down below on what do you think is going to happen next on this overall discussion, and, just have an options of a day. And remember that One Piece greatness. Once again, I apologize for putting out this video late, but, it is what it is. Time, like my boy Diego Brando says, my time is only mine. It is what it is, bro. You guys have been awesome for day. One Piece greatness.